Good afternoon, boys and girls. This is Alina Demeter at Start Me Up Studios here in Hollywood, California. We are here in honor of my daughter's birthday to begin our first new education session for children. And before we begin, however, I'd like to begin by pledging allegiance to the flag. Would you please join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty, one nation, indivisible, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Now let's begin. It is my younger daughter's 10th birthday today, and what I'm going to do is to read some of the books that we used to read together when she was younger. We will begin with Pantaloon. This is one of her favorite books, and actually both of my daughter's favorite book. We used to read it over and over again. This is a book called Pantaloon by Little Golden Books. It's written by Katherine Jackson and illustrated by Leonard Weisgard. And that's Pantaloon in his bakery. Let's begin. This is a Little Golden Book. It was published in the state of New York, United States of America, by Golden Books Publishing Company. And it was first copyrighted in 1951. And renewed copyright in 1979. I do not own the rights to this book. I'm not making any money from reading this book. We're doing this as a public service during the COVID international pandemic, and this will be available worldwide for any child or adult to listen to. One morning, Pantaloon hopped on his shiny red bicycle and headed straight for the baker's shop. Oh my, he said to himself, I never can get enough of those cookies and yummy pastries. Now at that moment, the baker, who looked like a jolly round potato, was making a list of things he had to bake that morning. Pies and cakes with strawberry icing, gingerbread men with sugar and spicing, 12 wedding cakes with lots of layers, 9 birthday cakes, and chocolate eclairs. Sounds lovely, cried the baker, but I'll never be finished by noon unless I have some help. There's the baker. So we put a sign in the window that said, "Help Wanted." When Pantaloon saw that sign, he fairly flew into the shop. I'm a helper, he said, licking his lips. Oh no, Pantaloon, said the baker. You look to me as if you'd eat more than you'd bake. He opened the door very wide and said, Goodbye, Pantaloon. Then, since he was later than ever, the baker began at once to mix and beat and bake. Before long, another helper came tripping into his shop. This one seemed to be a very nice old lady in a big bonnet and a blue shawl. I'm a lovely cook, she said, and I never eat between meals. Then you're the helper for me, laughed the baker, so happy that he danced the old lady round and round his shop. Who is it really? It's Pantaloon, right? But her shawl caught on the counter and her bonnet bounced off her head. And this wasn't a nice old lady at all. It's Pantaloon, cried the baker, throwing up his hands. Goodbye, gulped Pantaloon. He walked past his bicycle and hurried next door to the barber shop. But all the time he was being clipped and combed and curled, he was trying to think up of a new plan for getting to be a helper in that bakery shop. Plan B. When plan A doesn't work, you got to come up with plan B. After a great hustle and bustle, the baker was ready to ice his cakes. He opened his sugar bin and it was empty, right down to the bottom. No sugar! Away he ran in his going to market hat. And then back he came carrying such a large bag of sugar that he never saw Pantaloon's bicycle. Oops, cried the baker as he tripped. Down he came, sugar hat and all, in a heap. When Pantaloon saw what happened, he wanted to hide under the barber's chair. But he ran bravely out and he helped the angry, bruised, and bumped baker into his bed. Don't worry about a thing, he called. Then he mixed the icing, iced the cakes, loaded everything into the baker's truck, and delivered all the cakes and cookies in the nick of time. People were delighted to have their pies and cakes and cookies brought to them by such a prompt poodle. Are you the baker's new helper? They asked. Maybe I am, grinned Pantaloon happily. You see, you have to earn a position. It just doesn't come dropping into your lap. Pantaloon understands this. Now let's continue. But on the way back, he remembered it was his bicycle that had caused all the trouble. It was his bicycle. Oh me, he cried, I'll never dare show my face in the baker's shop again, he said shamefacedly. So he packed the bakery truck and went home. Pantaloon is feeling ashamed. Before long, the baker was back in his shop. He mixed and baked and iced more busily than ever, because now he had more customers than ever. Why, where's Pantaloon? They asked. And they said, how you must miss him. Well, my goodness, said the baker, very much surprised. Well, I do miss Pantaloon. And what do you know about that? The baker began to search all over town for the missing poodle. And everyone said, no, I haven't seen him. And the baker went sadly back to his shop. He put on his tall white hat, and suddenly he had such a splendid idea that he grinned a wide grin and began to bake the biggest, roundest, most beautiful cake ever. And meanwhile, Pantaloon was home in his bathtub, scrubbing his back with the long-handled brush. Through the window came the beautiful smell of that beautiful cake. In a wink, Pantaloon was out of his bath. He hurried down the street holding a big green umbrella in front of him. This way, he said, I can see the baker's shop, but the baker can't see me. Pantaloon had to be a little sneaky here, right? Oh, there he is, Pantaloon. And he stopped in front of the window. That wonderful shop looked even more wonderful. It was filled with pies and cakes with all kinds of icing, gingerbread men with sugar and spicing, and wedding cakes with lots of layers, and spicing, and cakes and chocolate eclairs. I don't know about you, but I'm getting hungry. And right in the very middle of the window, tipped forward so you could read the letters, was a beautiful big round cake that said, Please, Pantaloon, come back. Here I am, laughed Pantaloon, bursting into the shop. At last, cried the baker. He put a tall white hat on Pantaloon's head. The two sat in the window, eating and laughing and chatting away, the two happiest bakers in the entire world. The end. That's Pantaloon.